I'm going to jump straight in. There's about 30 people registered, which means we'll probably see somewhere between 5 and 12 people show up live. I'm seeing about a 20% live show up rate. Totally fine. And you're here to talk about how to promote your webinar, which is quite interesting because I'm going to, as I was putting the slides together, I'm like, I don't always do this stuff all the time, so I'm going to give you like the full like smorgasbord of stuff that you can do to promote your webinars. But also talk just kind of strategically about where that fits into your system, like why webinars. And when I say webinars, I don't really mean a webinar, because that to me, if I say webinar, it's like one person talking, a bunch of people that are just like quiet and just consuming. And I really want this to be quite like as interactive as possible. So before I start mouthing off about my stuff, I'd love to just hear a little bit from you guys, because it's also a network opportunity for you guys. It's just in a couple of sentences, just, introduce yourselves to the group, who you are, what kind of clients you're looking for, and where webinars sort of fit into your, or presentations fit into your system. So Aneta, you want to kick us off?
No problem, thank you. Aneta Sanders, I'm a full-time employee of the National Health Service at the moment, and I'm having a coaching business on the side. And the coaching business is aimed at the niche of conscious women who are currently in or recovering from toxic relationships. And my aim is to have an online presence worldwide, because I want to transcend boundaries and borders, and therefore any kind of online presence would be very important to me. So I'm building my presence on Facebook, and the next step for me is to go live in Facebook groups and on my Facebook profile to give that personal connection to people and to connect with me. And the next step would be the masterclasses, which, very similar to webinars, to what you're saying. So that's essentially a prolonged online presence for about an hour, hour and a half, to discuss the subject matter, to talk about it. And I must admit, I used to be a very sort of camera shy before that COVID hit. And 2 years of working from home and being on Teams constantly, it's sort of made me immune, I think, to that lack of online presence. I would love to gain some knowledge from you, John, about management of webinars, and any kind of knowledge that would help me with that online presence would be more than beneficial.
Amazing, fantastic, thanks, Aneta. Welcome, Beverly.
Hi, John.
Cool. Amazing, cool. Good stuff. We're just doing introductions quickly, so just give us 2 seconds. Who's Beverly, and why webinars for Beverly? Cool.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Beverly Anderson. I have just launched a new brand which is called Frustrated Self-Care. Why webinars are important for me, I believe, is because it will put me in front of the right audience. They'll get a feel for who I am, and I think it's more personal.
Yeah, love that. Fantastic. Adam, do you want to tell everyone
Sure.
Who's Adam and why webinars?
Okay, great. So I'm Adam Bancroft. I'm a John Maxwell certified leadership coach. And so for me, webinars will be able to transcend physical boundaries and promote my business of coaching and teaching leadership skills to many people. Like Aneta, at first I was afraid to even talk on camera. I didn't want to even see myself. I was totally critiquing, but now it's just a way of life and I've gotten pretty used to it. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking to do.
All right, fantastic. I think you're definitely in the right place, and I think your webinar is super powerful. I mean, because you are the product, right? So if you want to get people, people get to know you, you and Aneta in a similar position where you are the product. So and Beverly as well. So that's great. And Erica, appreciate your moving, but if you are able to just tell us a couple sentences, who's Erica and why webinars?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Erica. I own a brand called Prasanna. We help marketing agencies and e-commerce mainly to build up processes, set up lean teams, so kind of just optimize all of the backend. And we're actually looking to launch our first webinar in September. So we're
amazing.
gonna, our goal with the webinar is to collect emails, so then we can do like good marketing with emails.
Fantastic. Love that. Love that. And I think, yeah, so if I, I'll tell you a bit about my story. I'll tell you about why webinars for me. So I'm a digital marketer, 20 years of experience, and a very curious person, which means I've worked with all sorts of different companies, more than 450 different companies of all sorts of types. And COVID was an interesting time where two things happened. One is, March kind of, where we now, 2020, kind of the first lockdown, all my clients said, "Oh boy, sorry, John, I can't market anymore. So we can't do business anymore. So I can't market." So suddenly I had this really interesting experience where I suddenly had no clients, which was really interesting. A really interesting growth opportunity, because that's what happens, right? The universe gives you a growth opportunity, but it looks like a problem, right? So I looked at myself in the mirror, saw what the problem was, and I said, John, everyone's in the same boat, right? If you can't solve this for yourself, like you've got no business trying to pretend you can do this for other people. So I looked out at all the different things I've done. I've spent millions of pounds on Facebook, on Google ads, on SEO, on websites, on all of that stuff. And out of all of that, when I needed to solve this problem for myself, I thought webinars. And the reason for that was specifically LinkedIn had just created the event functionality, that little piece that you could create an event on LinkedIn. And there was a little button that you could set up an event and you could press invite and you could choose people. When I looked at this, I thought, oh my God, this is awesome. This is awesome. And the reason it is awesome is suddenly I realized you could build a funnel, right? You could build a funnel on the most valuable social network on the planet, which is LinkedIn. Highest net worth per capita of all the social media platforms. And I'll talk a little bit about this as a funnel, right? So if you've ever read Russell Brunson's perfect webinar system, or ClickFunnels, or all of that stuff, they talk about funnels. And the first time I saw this event functionality, I was like, you know what? You could invite people. You could just invite people straight. They subscribe and they go straight into your email box. And you can follow up with them by email. You can follow up with them by chat. And ultimately, you can be in a room full of people. And honestly, this is my favorite way to sell. When I say sell, what I really mean is serve, right? Because, I have a belief that if what you're selling, providing is worth more than you're selling, then it's your duty to be abundant, right? It's your duty to make lots of money, because that means that you're delivering value and you're actually helping people. Okay, so that's what I did. So just over 2 years ago, I started with this little LinkedIn invite button, and I started pulling on this thread to see how slick can we make it, right? And so since then, over the last 2 years, I've started to build this system of essentially like the leanest, cleanest marketing system I could find for the people I like to work with most, which are expert businesses such as yourselves. Now, the system works really well if you're an expert business, if you're a coach, but also works really, really well if you're doing any kind of B2B sales or engagement, because you're on LinkedIn, you're able to connect directly to people. And you'll notice, even when you're promoting your webinar, the number of people that actually sign up and show up is great, because you can interact live. But there's another benefit as well, is that what I've noticed is for every time I do a webinar, there might be 30 or 40 people that sign up, 5 or 6 or 10 people that show up, but there's about 5,000 to 10,000 people that know that it's happened, right? Because if I flash back to 2009 or 2020, I made a commitment to myself. I was going to do an event every week until I got my client book back, until I had a business again. And week 1, did some great stuff on digital marketing, no clients. Week 2, same thing, no clients. Week 3, no clients. Week 4, no clients. Week 5, no clients. Week 6, still no clients. Week 7, 5. 5 people wanted to work with me on the same day, right? And only 4 of them had ever been on any of the events that I'd done. I mean, how crazy is that? Because it's the system that, for each person each time you do one of these events, there's a whole bunch of people that actually see that it's that you've done one. Right. So because there's a weird thing that happens if you do an event, you stand up and say something. You know how like the deepest fear most people have is public speaking. It's like right up there with death and heights. But I think the opposite of that is called the instant authority figure syndrome, where if you can get up and talk with authority about anything, people automatically think you know what you're talking about. Right. So if you've done an event and people see that you've done an event, there's an instant sort of trust that you get. Now, when you're building relationships and when you're wanting to be a thought leader or for an expert business like a coach or a consultant, that trust and that authority is an integral part of building the client relationship. And I think so. Webinars, you can you build authority. You're able to develop a relationship. You're able to help people just get to know you and decide whether or not they want to work with you. Because I believe people buy from people first. Like all the product and all of that stuff comes later on. And then you get a whole bunch of other benefits as well. You can get recorded content. This will get streamed onto YouTube. Sometimes I take these up and carve them up and turn them into courses. The audio from this could be a podcast. It's very, very versatile. So I love, I think this is absolutely great format. Now, if we had to look at your marketing system, so let's just talk about where the webinar fits into your system. So this is that process I created 2 years ago, and it's kind of grown arms and legs since, is sort of evolved the thinking from a funnel to a bridge. Because when you wanted to get sales from your audience, from LinkedIn, whether it's coaching clients for Adam or Netta or Beverly, or B2B clients for Erica, you're essentially building a bridge, right? Your clients are over here. They want what they want. They're on a mission. They want to get to where they want to get to. And the bridge that we're building for them is from awareness, firstly, that they know who you are, that they know you exist, to consideration, where they're considering working with you, to decision, they're making a decision to work with you, and then actual delivery. And then in terms of your delivery, this is the sort of ecosystem for an expert business. You start from high value one-to-one, you evolve then into group coaching. Once you've seen the patterns in your one-to-one business, then you develop a blended approach to that. So you're using a mixture of digital and and face-to-face, and then ultimately you're able to develop digital-only products as well. And that's sort of a mature expert business ecosystem, where you see like your value ladders and those sort of things, where you get a free download and then it steps you through a bunch of stages. Now, what I love again about webinars is that it enables you to go from here straight to your webinar, to your discovery call, to one-to-one very quickly and cleanly, with so your market is able to go from your webinar event into your masterclass, into a sort of discovery call, into a discovery call or one-to-one, and then into a one-to-one, and be able to work with you with very little hassle. So that's again why I love, and I'll talk more about this the system, because it's my desire that you guys have a system like this for yourselves. And cool. So when we look at how to promote, so what I'll talk about now is once you've got your event, how to set it up and how to promote it in such a way that you can actually build one of these bridges and be able to do that. So if you guys have any questions as we go through this, I'd love for you guys to, just stop me, ask questions. If there's any questions that you have about this, just shout. If there's anything that's not clear, there's a lot of detail in here, and I could zoom in on any one of the individual pieces, but I'd love for you guys to just get the most out of today's session. So, all right. So the first thing is like how to actually create your event in LinkedIn. Now, there's a couple of different ways of doing it. Now, I found you can do it on your personal page. You can do it on external platforms like Eventbrite. But what I found is that if you create the event on your company page, there's then a little checkbox when you create the event that says allow registration, right? And this is a magic little checkbox, because once you do that, it creates and effectively a form on LinkedIn, and you can connect that to an integration provider called Zapier. Now, Zapier is codeless API, which means that you can connect it to just about anything. What that does, as soon as people sign up, it then connects them straight into, you collect their email addresses, but then from there, you can do follow-up automated communication. So you would have noticed today, as soon as you signed up, you would have got a confirmation email, you would have got possibly a LinkedIn message, and then a reminder email just before the event. And then from there, you'll get added to a list of people that have attended my webinars, and you'll also get invitations to future webinars. So that's your first. We've tried a lot of different ways of doing this, but what I really love about the company page is that it really makes it as simple as possible. Firstly, for you to collect that all-important information, but secondly, it's really then a friction-free way for your delegates to be able to sign up. Okay, so for you guys who wanted to, for Erica, you were saying you wanted to get email addresses, really great way of doing that. So secondly, when you market your event, now you're going to do whatever you're going to do in terms of promoting your event via your email list. You're going to do it on your social media. Those are like the obvious ways. And I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I think you should do the obvious ways on all your social media, through all your partners, and kind of leading up to the event. But one of the most versatile ways about using webinars is being able to use different speakers. Now, at the moment, you guys are, it's worthwhile talking a little bit about the different types of events that you can use. Now, if you imagine, I like to think about sort of group calls as a sort of matrix. So if you have lots of people on one axis and sort of personalization on another axis. If you have lots of people and low personalization, that's sort of a webinar presentation where it's just one person talking and everybody else is quiet. On the other side of that axis, you've got low number of people, high personalization. The epitome of that is a one-to-one sales or strategy call, right? Where it's literally completely customized to a single person. But within that matrix, and you can use, any of these type of events using this mechanism. So you can have, one-to-one or group sales calls, but you could also have, if you have a group of maybe like 5 or 10 people, it could be like a round table. Or if you have a group of speakers, you could then have a sort of summit or a round table or a forum. Now, one of the great hacks is if you have more than one speaker, each of the speakers is able to promote the event on their own personal timelines and on their own personal pages leading up to the event. So each time you do a post, you can tag the speakers in, and what that's going to do is increase the organic engagement of the posts leading up to the event. Obviously, when the more people you have tagged into a post, the more reach it gets initially. Now, if there's engagement and comments on things around that, that's going to increase the engagement even more. But if you've got more than one person involved in your event, then it just expands the reach of the network as well. So you can then start using things like engagement pods. Now, the way the LinkedIn algorithm works is, as soon as an event is posted or anything is posted, there's sort of a golden hour where the more engagement it gets in the first hour, the more exposure an event is going to get. So have any of you guys heard of engagement pods? Do you know what that is? All right. It's basically it's a collaboration. If I know that I want engagement on a particular post, then and what I've built, one of the things with these events is I started to build a community of people, of coaches, of expert businesses that are doing these events, right, and are doing organic posting on LinkedIn, right? So I know if I want something that gets engagement, all I need to do is drop it in my community that says, hey guys, I'd love to get some engagement on this. Please could you comment, or please could you do this? And and the community all connects and comments on it. And what that does is it boosts the engagement. Now, you can go and be part of the paid engagement pods. If you Google it, there's a whole kind of area around this. But really, what I encourage you guys to think about is we're all in this together. And once you start developing strategic alliances with other people that are potentially working in the same audience, you can comment on each other's stuff, which is going to increase the engagement. One of the invitations today is, hey, like, you know, we're all on a similar mission here. Like, let's collaborate, let's stay in touch so that we can start promoting each other's events and expanding the reach and influence that we've got. Because like I said, if if what you're doing is worth more than you're selling, I think it's your duty to be abundant. And it really is my vision and my mission. I mean, who wants to make more money through more impact? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure. Right. Because I think ultimately, making money is nice, and I think we should all 100% do that. But if you can do that in such a way that's actually making an impact and helping people, I think that's just, that's just awesome. Another idea, and I've got a bunch of ideas. If you've got any questions around this, obviously just shout. But I'm going to rapid fire through a bunch of these because I want you guys to just get a high level of all the different events. Again, this is a large part of what I'm doing at the moment, is helping people like you being able to put on events like this simply, easily, and cleanly, so that you can you can reach your audience. You might have seen some of my posts around LinkedIn polls, or something that get quite a lot of engagement. You put a poll up and people will vote on it, yes or no. So a while back I did a poll that said, what do you guys want to hear about? Do you want to hear about how to post on LinkedIn, how to create LinkedIn funnels, or how to promote webinars? And in the poll it said, I want to learn about promoting webinars. So I reached out to everyone who voted in that poll and said, hey, this is when the event is happening, and some of them have even registered now. So polls is a great way of getting engagement, but it's a nice way of just getting leads for your business generally. Like if I have a poll that says, are you considering doing webinars, yes or no? And if people say yes, I can reach out to them and say, hey, you said you're doing a webinar. You said you're interested in doing more webinars on LinkedIn. This is exactly what I do. Do you want a strategy call? Let's see how we can get this done. Invite people manually to your event. Now, this is one of the hacks that, the first time I saw this on LinkedIn, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever, right? Let me just get on my LinkedIn here. Right, so let's just go and look at an event. And I want to just, like, the first time I saw this, it blew my mind, right? Because I'm an ads guy, right? So I understand cost per click, cost per lead, and how much, like, and even on LinkedIn ads, you're paying a couple of pounds every time somebody clicks on your ad. And so should I show you guys how to how to get free email addresses and promote your event for free forever? You want to see this? Let's just show you. As you can see, kind of. Okay, so look at this button over here. You can see it says invite. And this is again the LinkedIn company page. So look at this. So this is my network. Now you can invite to your LinkedIn event 1,000 people per week to an event. Right? How cool is that? I mean, that's every week you can have 1,000 people that you can invite to an event. So if you have 1,000 good people in your network that you could potentially do business with, it's every week it's an opportunity to invite 1,000 people to come and hang out with you, learn something, and potentially work with you. Right? I mean, what would that be? If you had to think about sending out, had to try and do that with ads, especially on LinkedIn ads, we're talking about hundreds, probably like £1,000 a month or something like that, just being able to invite 1,000 people. Now, what's more is if you have people that work with you, or sales teams, so Erica, this will be especially valuable for you, is that each other person that works in the organization, so each person, so if I go over here, I can just go and invite, these are people in my network, right? So I could invite up to 1,000 people in my network. Now, if you're a bit lazy and, this maybe takes a little bit of time, because you're having to do them one at a time. But that took, that was 12 people, very easy. If you use any of these drop-down menus, okay, and I thought this by itself is pretty awesome. You can just click and invite people, and you can be super targeted in who you invite. And I thought that is really cool. But I went to an event by another LinkedIn a LinkedIn expert, because I'm a lifelong student of this stuff, and he said, oh, you just invite people like hundreds at a time. You just you can just multiple select them. And I was like, how do you select them multiply? I mean, I can see how you select them one at a time. And he said, oh, you just use these drop downs. Okay, so at the moment I am looking to connect with people in the United States. So you click on the United States and you say show results, and if you choose any of these drop downs, you can then select multiple people, right? And I looked at that and I thought, whoa, I mean, look at that, just like that. And I've now invited 50 people, and that took, what, seconds? Now, it's a little bit strange because you need to scroll down a little bit. But if I spend a few seconds and just scroll down, you just hit this hit the select all button, and suddenly I've invited 60 people to an event. And if those people sign up, they've opted in, the opportunity to talk to them. You have all of the contact details that you need to follow up. And more than that, anyone who says yes to an event is like, okay, cool. You're interested in solving this problem, right? So I have a reasonable belief that you guys and everyone else who signed up for this want to find out more about promoting your event on LinkedIn. Yeah, cool. And I think that's one of I studied for months cold outreach. So talking to people on LinkedIn, just sort of starting random conversations. And you can do that with people, but you never know if they're actually interested in like webinars or marketing or whatever the case might be. But this kind of mechanism allows people just to raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm actually interested. And then it's a very natural option, very natural follow-up to say, hey, you registered for the event. Are you interested in finding out more? Right. So this absolutely blew my mind, because, LinkedIn event, no ads, no website, no complicated funnels, event, invite people, submit, and people that say yes, you can talk to them, right? And you get their contact details. And more than that, they sort of said, yeah, I'm interested in doing that. And it means I'm all about kind of efficiency in marketing. And one of the most inefficient things is talking to people who aren't interested. So just that little invitation button, and that's how you can see this event has this Discord. There's 31 people that RSVP. So everyone will get a copy of the recording. Everyone will get a copy of the ability to have a strategy call and find out if they want to take their webinar journey to the next step. So you can do, as a one-person business, you can run a system like this and invite 1,000 people a week. So at the moment, I'm doing these once a week because I'm very strategic about the content I'm creating at the moment, and I want to get through the 7 modules I'm creating that are all forming part of a course. So I'm doing one a week, but once I've done once a week, I'll go to once every 2 weeks, because if you do it once every 2 weeks, you then have 2 weeks of invites, which means you can invite 2,000 people to the same event. And what happens then is you get more people in a single event. If you change it to once every 4 weeks, you have 4 weeks of promotion. You have 4,000 people that you can invite, and you end up getting a lot more people in the room. So this mechanism is extremely flexible. Now, if you're running a B2B sales team or an outreach team, and you've got 5 people that all work in your organization, and each of them can invite 1,000 people a week, suddenly it's 5,000 people a week, or 20,000 people that can be invited to an event once a month. So this is incredibly powerful. I mean, it absolutely blew my mind when the first time I saw this little button. So that manually inviting people on LinkedIn, especially if you've connected it up to your business page, so powerful. Because every week you're free lead generation every single week. I mean, do you guys get that? Are you like sitting there going like, whoa? So yeah, cool. The next thing you can do is you can invite, once you start getting clever with this thing, you can start inviting people automatically. This is where you start to build automation around that. So when you're building automation, I think the best automation is invisible. So one of the things I've got running, and it's a piece of software I use called Expandy, love Expandy, is you can start building custom lists. So what I've done is anyone who invites a webinar, has been to a webinar, goes into a list. And every time I want to just invite other people that have been to it previously, I just press invite, and it just invites everyone that I've invited previously. Because I've got about 7,000 people in my network. Not all of them are going to be interested in, sales and marketing. I mean, I've done all sorts of different things. I used to sell water purifiers at one point. Like those people, I don't know, potentially you could sell water purifiers on the internet, but maybe not so much. Right now, I'm really focused on coaches, expert businesses, people that I call light bringers. Okay, that's my word for it. It's people that are just, they're playing a bigger game. They're aware that, we're existing here essentially to bring more light into the world. And these are the people I'm wanting to connect with and empower to be able to go and deliver that impact in the world. All right. So you can invite people automatically to your events. Now, the next few tricks I'm going to show you work really well, especially if you have some kind of automation tool available to you. Is if you're looking to invite people to an event like yours, you can go and see who's RSVP to other events that are similar in a similar industry. Okay, and using some of the tools that I've used, you can literally just say invite, that event, slope them up and invite them to my event. Super easy, takes absolutely milliseconds. But even if you're not using any kind of tools, you can go and look at other events that your audience is going to. You can RSVP to the same event, start a conversation with them. But if you're using some kind of automation, and I'm all about how do we get the most amount of impact with the smallest amount of time, you can just go and invite other people who've been to events that you think will make them good candidates for yours. Great. You can also then, when you start building your connector campaigns, you can create a connector campaign to scrape your own event as soon as you launch it, right? So you might have seen some of the messages come in the course of leading up to this week, is when you RSVP to an event, you can build an automation that says, hey, thanks so much for RSVPing to the event. Here's the next steps. Maybe here's the link. Or sometimes I offer people an opportunity to jump the queue and go straight into a strategy call. Normally that makes a lot more sense if you've got a 4-week lead up, because you want to make sure that people are engaged all the way up to the event as well. Right, so that's another great opportunity. You can also join LinkedIn groups and invite people from a LinkedIn group to join your event. LinkedIn groups, I mean, it's a really missed opportunity. There's a lot of great groups on there. They tend not to get that much engagement. But again, if you're joining a group that's that's about coaches or coaching, and you've got other coaches inside there, you have opportunity to go and network with them. At the same time, Adam, is there a specific vertical that you're looking for, like a specific type of client or type of industry, type of person that you want to work with?
Yeah, so there's 2 types of individuals I'm looking for. One in the personal growth side. So people, you might also call that a life coaching experience, but it's very valuable to use a set of principles, whether it's in life, whether it's in business. So there's the personal growth side. And so I'm looking for somebody who's willing to invest in themselves, but I'm also looking for someone who's willing to invest in their teams. And so then that's where the investment in a team is more leadership focused. And so those are the 2 types of individuals I'm looking for.
Fantastic. I mean, so you could look at, particularly groups around any of the management thinking. I mean, Brian Tracy, right? Mm-hmm. Anything around that.
Absolutely.
Principles of success, any of those type of things. And, in other sessions, I mean, we've got a way, and just with not time, we run out of time, but you can actually start using, you start with your existing clients, look at your existing clients and their existing LinkedIn profiles and see what groups they're a part of. And you can start to use that to build a matrix. I mean, it's a blinding flash of the obvious, right? You want to find out what groups your clients hang out in. Look at your clients' LinkedIn profiles and see what groups they hang out in. and join some of the groups. Another little hack I can give you guys is potentially if you're getting started out in LinkedIn. Now, if you're wanting to build your LinkedIn network, maybe you're just getting started. You can invite 1,000 of your first level connections to events, right? But you have to have 1,000 first level connections. So if there's a way, now LinkedIn they're trying to avoid spam. So you can send about 250 connections to new people every week, right? So you can't spam the network. But if you wanted to increase your network rapidly, it gives you the opportunity to import your existing contacts, right? So you'll be able to just, connect to your LinkedIn, connect it to your contacts, and from there be able to just rapidly increase the size of your network. So to do that, you want me to show you quickly how to do that? Cool. Fantastic. All right, so a little bit of a live demo here. So the way we do that, we click on here. Okay, I need to follow up with Clifford. LinkedIn's going crazy here. It always does around these events. It's just like people start, and it's people that message me around the event, but also other people that have gone, oh, I haven't seen that guy in ages. And then, great. So what you want to do over here is under network, over here, and hey, Eddie, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
Righto. Okay, so I'm just showing how you can rapidly grow your network by bypassing LinkedIn's connection limit. So it's one of the things, if you go manage my network, you go to contacts, and you can see here we've got add more contacts. Let's go add more contacts. And look at this. So here's one of the easiest things to do if you use Gmail is you just connect it to your Gmail account. And what that does is it slurps all your contacts from Gmail straight into LinkedIn, and you're able to then invite all of those people in one go without having to invite them without it completely bypasses the 250 connections a week limit. So you're able to then just rapidly expand your network and really get going. What you can also do is you can upload contacts. So if you're really astute, what you could do is go and profile your contacts and sort them out in a CSV and only bring the contacts in that you actually want to do business with. Because I have lots of contacts, people in my phone book that not necessarily want to do business with. My old neighbor, like people like that. They're lovely, but they're not going to buy consulting from me. So what I've done, so these are my coachy type people that I've profiled, and what you can see is it's pulled up that spreadsheet, and there's now 1,522 people that I can go and connect with in one go. Cool, huh? Fantastic. And I love this because it's just, as a coach, as a consultant, it's all about the people. It's your network that allows you to be able to grow your business. Obviously you can use ads and things like that, but just those personal relationships, if you can bring those in and just accelerate that, it allows you to grow your business really quickly, but also really efficiently. It's just, I've seen so many people. One of the guys in my mastermind group spent $80,000 on Facebook ads, $80,000 to try and get clients for his coaching, and it sunk him. He had to go back and get a job. And I was just like, I only met him kind of towards the end of this journey, and I'm like, come on, what could have happened if he had known this stuff, right? If he had to known how to grow his network without spending any money on ads, right? And that's really my vision. My passion is to allow people to be able to earn a living from your passion, without having to spend thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on ads and complex funnels and things like that. I want to just remove all the friction so that you can grow and go out and deliver the impact that you want to deliver without having to bankrupt yourself in the process. I've probably spent in the region of about $30,000 on coaching, consulting, masterminds, stuff to learn a lot of the frameworks. But what I've really, some of the approaches, but what I've learned after all of that is that you don't need a whole bunch of complex tech, especially if you're an expert business, just to get started with this stuff. Absolutely, you can build out, you can build it all out afterwards, but I really want to see how more people succeed. And if I can create a way for you guys to be able to get going, get clients, build impact without having to, have major technical complexity or spend, tens of thousands of dollars on ads and fancy websites and things like that, then, that really, that's what I want to do. Great. So there's a couple more tips, and then I'll give you guys an offer of stuff if you do want to take this further and accelerate your process. Also allow a couple of moments for Q&A. If you're using a Sales Navigator, you want to just connect to people. If you guys, any of you using Sales Navigator, it's like the LinkedIn paid version. I'm just going to skip that then. It's nice to have, but I don't think you don't need it to get started, because there's so much stuff that you can do with the free tools that you can get. And then, just leading up to building up excitement for attendees, all of the things we've said about following up. You can do things like bonuses, and you can, in your lead up to communication, you can say that, for example, the event won't be recorded. You can say that there's going to be a special offer for people that attend live. You could say that there's free gifts or bonuses that people are going to get if they attend live. You can also tease some of the content leading up to that in terms of what they're going to get. If you have multiple speakers, make them the heroes of the story. Adam, this amazing coach, he's got an amazing origin story, and you got to hear him tell the story, about the time with the alligator and the spatula and the Irishman, all right? And I have no idea what that even means, but people want to know what happened with the alligator, and so what I mean, you can start to tease those stories. Adam, you're about to tell me that there was actually a time with an alligator and an Irishman.
No, I was just going to ask you. I can't wait to hear my story about the alligator and the spatula.
Oh yeah, I mean, I did mention I'm in marketing, right? So fantastic. All right, and then you can of course invite your and this is one of the most exciting opportunities I'm currently kind of experimenting with, is this idea of creating a community of people. That, because I mean, you've seen, this event, like each one of us, you could create, I can invite 1,000 people to an event, right? But if I attend Beverly's event, I can also invite 1,000 people of my network to Beverly's event or to Adam's event, right? So imagine what would happen if we were a community of aligned individuals that were able to support each other like this, right? Because I truly believe that there's no, when you really get the whole abundance frame, there is no competition. Okay, so Beverly's a coach, Annetta's a coach, Adam's a coach. Eddie, I'm not sure if you're a coach, but you look like you could be.
I am.
Oh, amazing. All right. So here's how I think this works, is that each of us go through life and we get these opportunities, often disguised as problems, right? And then the universe slaps you around a bit, and then you kind of have to go through the darkness to get to the other side of that, and then you learn some stuff. And what that allows you to do, you get to the call it the light on the other side of the night. Okay, you go through that journey, that trauma, but it allows you then to level up, right? Now, once you've done that, you can then turn around and shine that light for the other people that are following. But each of us in our own journey, because of this process and what we've been bumping up against, causes the light, whatever you call the universe, God, whatever, it shines through us differently and it's reflected through us differently, so that people in our world will absorb that differently. Okay, like this, Adam, there's people that are going to learn from you in a way that they'll never learn from me, right? We can both say the same thing. I mean, you've seen that, right? Where, I mean, my wife can tell me something 100 times, then I hear it on something on YouTube and go, hey, this is a great idea. She's like, I've been telling you this thing. My wife's way smarter than me. But you get it, right? It's like you can hear the same thing from some people, but other people just land differently. And it's the same thing with you and your message and your audience, is that there's people out there that are going to hear it, and your message is going to land for them as if they've been waiting for it their whole life. In the same way as I believe that it's happened for you, when something has landed for you, and somebody's, you've heard somebody say something, and it's that growth. It really, really excites me. So once you get that, there's no competition, right? There's on the planet right now, there's people that are just waiting. All right, there's a significant amount of people that are, that your message is going to land for them with perfect clarity, because that's just the way it's set up, right? That your message and the way that you've learned things and the experience that you've been through is going to resonate powerfully with a certain group of people. Beverly, same thing for you. There's a certain group of people that your message is just going to land so beautifully and so perfectly. And to me, the purpose of great marketing is to make those connections. It's not to convince anyone to do anything, right? But to help the light get in faster, right? To help, because if we can make that whole process happen faster, everybody levels up. Okay, because what happens when you get to level someone else up? They can level somebody else up, right? And we can all just grow. And just imagine what would happen if we could just remove the friction out of that process. So this is what I mean by like inviting, if we all knew how to do this, and we're all in a community creating events like this, right? And inviting, cross-promoting each other's events. Like, what is the upper limit here? Like, how big can this get? We've got an international community here that, you could spread your message nationwide. You compound that week on week. Man, like the implications of that are just absolutely staggering. Right. So that's the message I want to leave you guys with. I'd say, that's the vision, events, LinkedIn, webinars, share your message. And if we all do that, what kind of world could we create? So that's the end of the content piece. Because you guys are here, I have said I will give you guys an offer if you do want to work with me. If you're not interested in that, if you're just here for the content, I'm happy if you want to sign off now. I wish you well. Have an awesome day. If you're interested to hear the offer, I'm happy to share that with you. But I'll just give you guys an opportunity. If you want to leave, I'll say thank you very much, and you have an awesome day. Everyone still here? All right. Curiosity, I'm sure. So what I was saying, so my vision basically is I want to just create a system where you guys all have access to the same technology that brought you here, but also that same kind of technology that I found when I needed to rebuild my business. And if we can create this space where everyone has access and we can create these events. So what I've done is we've created the exact same system that I use for my events, and we've done it in such a way that we can just clone it. Right? You can have a copy-paste version of the exact same system that I use. All the workflows, all the automations, all the blueprints, we can copy-paste that exactly. My business hit £100,000 last year, right? So I can now say, yeah, I'm a six-figure entrepreneur, only just. Profit is a different story. I'm still working on that because I just spend money as fast as I make it, right? But that was the first 100K year that I hit. So this is the exact system that I used to be able to get to that point. Secondly, what you'll get is we'll have an onboarding call. We'll take the system and we'll customize it to your specific requirements. Okay, we'll link it to your LinkedIn page. We'll link it to your email system. We'll link it to your contacts so that you can connect it to your branding and all the bits and pieces, your calendars, all of that stuff, so that people can RSVP to your webinars, be part of your email nurturing sequence, book into your calendar, book for a discovery call, book for a strategy call, and you can take them on and sign them up as clients. What I'm also going to give you is the exact swipe files for 13 different events. Now, these are events that I've run. And just to give you an idea of what's possible, I'll also give you all the promotion, like the LinkedIn posts and the messages for day 1 through 5 for each of these events. What you'll also get is a training library with all the recorded course material on how to grow your LinkedIn network connections, how to have conversations with people in such a way that they ultimately give you money, right? How to run strategy calls, how to actually, be on a call and run a sales call in such a way that you can ethically help people take to the next level, but it also increase the value of whatever you're selling at the moment, right? So the total value of all of that stuff, I mean, this system by itself, I mean, I think it's priceless. But the total value of that system, I would say, is in the region of about £15,000. But wait, there's more. What I'm also going to give you is, I'm not just going to set the system up once. I'm going to give you 12 months of access to the same system that I use to run these webinars. It's a platform called High Level. So in addition to the customized system that I'm going to customize it for you, I'm going to give you 12 months of access to the software. So not only will it run the webinars and processes for you, it's also what my favorite system for running a coaching business, right? Because that whole evolution, once you've done webinars once, you're going to start, you're going to want to do them on an ongoing basis. You're going to want to start generating courses. You're going to want to start building your website in. You're going to want to start running a CRM and a sales process and keep track of where your opportunities are. You're going to want to start taking courses, taking the webinars, turning them into courses that you can sell. That platform allows you to do all of that, to grow your business without having to go nuts with all of the tech and learn all of that stuff. It's the simplest, cleanest system I've seen in order to do that. Now, if you had to look at, this is all the software that it would replace if you had to get it individually. Twilio for text message, Active Campaign for contacts, voicemail marketing, Calendly, your calendars, ClickFunnels for your landing pages. It's got this feature, right, where you can point it at a ClickFunnels page and say, import this ClickFunnels page, and it'll just import the entire ClickFunnels page. We'll place your website, we'll place your CRM hotspot. If you're using any kind of course building software, all my courses are built inside the same software. We'll replace all of those. You're going to get 12 months of access to that. So if you had to buy all of those things individually, that's an additional $7,800 worth of cost that you basically, I'm just adding it in because I really want you to just accelerate, like go and get going, go and make money. So, so all of that, so that's £12,000 worth of the original software, £7,800 of additional monthly software. I'm going to give that all to you for a one-off payment. £2,000 once off, set the whole thing up for you, and you've got 12-month headway to be able to, go out there, run your webinars, build your business, and what's more, will also give you access to a community of other entrepreneurs that are doing the same thing, right? So as you're building this process, there's other people that have also got a system just like this that you guys can cross promote your events with. Cool. So there's nothing to buy now. I'm just like, that's the thing. If you do want to find out more about this, all I'm saying is, all I invite you to do is book a strategy call with me. Let's let's have a chat. Make sure this is actually this is right for you. Answer any questions, and if you're happy, I mean, this deal is only available because you're here. You won't find this on my website. You won't find this anywhere else. Cool. So just quick show of hands, just so I make sure, is there anybody who wants to find out more about this, that wants to book a strategy call and just get closer into the detail and find out more about how this would work for you? Just raise your hand. Okay, amazing, good stuff. All right, Adam, we'll make sure we follow up with you and just find out, to see, take the next steps and get you set up and going. We've got 3 minutes until another call. If there's any further questions, anyone have any last burning questions before I let you guys go back to your day? Beverly.
Hi, I just got one question, just going back, and thank you very much for this very information-packed webinar. There's a couple of things in the process that I've been working on that I've missed, so it's really been helpful actually just highlighting a couple of those areas for me specifically. The page that you mentioned with regards to inviting people to your webinar or event was from a company page. to your personal page. So what I have done in the past is which is what I'm currently doing at the moment, is inviting people from my personal profile, so on LinkedIn, as opposed to the company page, because the company page tends to be pretty dead. So can you just elaborate a little bit on the fact that if you're not using currently your company page, you don't have as much engagement on your company page? I understand the benefits of using the company page, giving more sort of reach out opportunities, but is there any other than that, are there any other benefits for using the company page to reach out and invite people to your event?
I mean, literally, you'd use the company page to invite people to these events, and yeah, nothing else. You're quite right. The company page, you try and get engagement on there, it's just dead. It's very, I don't know what's going on, but I've tried every way, shape, or form to try and get people to engage in the company page. Not interested. Right? So what you do is, but for these events, literally, you create the event, you do the invitations from here. You can post about the event. You know, when you post from the company page, you post to your personal page about the event. You know, so you do all the posting about the event, all the stuff that I've been speaking about in terms of posting about the event, all of that stuff is done on the personal page, but it's literally only the RSVP process that happens on the company page. And that's purely because you have that additional option that can say, get the, you know, require registration, and then that allows them to go straight into your system. And that triggers, you can then build all the automation and all that stuff off the back of that. And those are all the workflows and all those things that are included in the system. And yeah, I mean, it's brilliant. You set up the event once, you invite 2,000 people, you sit back and wait. It all just clicks in and flows through. It's brilliant.
Perfect.
But yeah, it's just the company page. Fantastic. Thanks, Eddie. I'll follow up with you guys. Guys, it's been amazing. Adam, will make sure I follow up with you. Let's get you on the stages on all of the world and build your system to take your impact worldwide. Everyone else, it's been amazing. I'll see, I'm doing these about once a week at the moment, so just, you know, stay tuned. You'll keep on getting event invites and to different aspects of the system, and I wish you guys massive success.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
All right.
See you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks then. Bye.
Thank you.
All right.